What if the story of America's quest for religious freedom isn't as black and white as we've been told? Perhaps it's time to explore the contrasting narratives of America's founding. It's easy to accept the traditional perspective that this was simply a quest for religious freedom, but what if we told you there's more to the story, that this was also a strategic expansion of orthodoxy? The early settlers weren't just seeking religious freedom, they were also spreading orthodoxy. Orthodoxy, in its monolithic nature, overshadowed the rich tapestry of indigenous and unorthodox spiritualities. The early settlers, while seeking religious freedom, brought with them a systemic bias. Their orthodox beliefs, often singular and rigid, clashed with the diverse spiritual practices they encountered. Indigenous spiritualities, rich in their diversity, were unified in their reverence for nature, a stark contrast to the Eurocentric orthodoxy. Orthodoxy, in shaping the spiritual landscape of early America, didn't just influence its oppressed. The diverse and unorthodox spiritual practices that thrived here were systematically pushed to the shadows. This action fostered a false dichotomy, one that placed spirituality and science at opposite ends. The spiritual was deemed unscientific and the scientific unspiritual. A wedge was driven between the two, undermining the value of spiritual wisdom and curtailing the evolution of a holistic understanding of our universe. The spiritual landscape of early America was shaped by more than just the quest for religious freedom. The 20th century saw the rise of unorthodox spiritual philosophers who began to bridge the gap between science and spirituality. This period marked a significant shift in spiritual thought, where the monopoly of orthodoxy was gradually being challenged. These philosophers dared to question the established norms, suggesting that spirituality was not an exclusive domain of the orthodox religions, but a universal human experience. They proposed that spirituality was not at odds with science, but rather they were two sides of the same coin. They saw spirituality as a personal journey, not confined by rigid doctrines, but a fluid exploration of the human existence and our place in the universe. They rejected the idea of a singular truth, acknowledging the value in diverse spiritual perspectives. They fostered spirituality as an inclusive space where all perspectives could coexist, contributing to a richer, more holistic understanding of our existence. These thinkers challenged the status quo, creating a space for a more inclusive spiritual understanding. The pervasive influence of the Demiurge, a metaphor for orthodoxy, has created divisions and undermined the value of spiritual wisdom. Picture this: a force that fosters a false dichotomy between spirituality and science, muddling our perception and diminishing the worth of spiritual wisdom. This force, this demiurge, manipulates our understanding, causing us to overlook the profound connections between these two realms. The demiurge's influence has shaped our understanding of spirituality, fostering a false dichotomy between spirituality and science. The potential for a global spiritual awakening lies in the interconnectedness of all wisdom traditions, revealing they are more unified theologically than different. This is the core belief of the unorthodox spiritual philosophers who emerged in the 20th century. Their work was not just about challenging the status quo, but about bridging gaps. They sought to merge ancient spiritual traditions with contemporary scientific insights, creating a rich tapestry of interwoven wisdom. Imagine spirituality not as a monolith, but as a kaleidoscope of perspectives, each contributing to a more vibrant, nuanced understanding of the divine. This vision challenges us to break free from the rigid confines of orthodoxy and to foster a more inclusive, compassionate spiritual landscape. It encourages us to appreciate the wisdom inherent in diversity and to recognize the common threads that bind us all. It's time to move beyond the confines of orthodoxy and embrace a more inclusive, compassionate spiritual landscape.